ordered what?
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Dean Callan Show for Cabin Fever 81. Just to reiterate, it's not 81 separate Cabin Fever episodes that I've done. This is day 81 since the government locked down bars, right? So it feels like longer than 81 days. It's starting to get old, I think. I really want to go to a pub and have a pint of Guinness. I know I used to always frequent cocktail bars all the time, but now I'm starting to think like maybe I'm learning where my true loyalties lie. Like I like pubs. We should appreciate pubs more. I need to start getting more of a maybe 70-30 split, like between cocktail bars and pubs. I should spend more time in pubs, drinking more pints of Guinness. That's my New Year resolution. And when I say New Year, I mean when COVID is over. We'll just class COVID as a year. Right, so I've got a great chat hopefully lined up today. I'm doing what I normally do, winging it. You might see there's a bunch of different spirit glasses in front of me. And like these are more miniatures of spirits. Look at this. Look at this, right? That's you think I'm playing. I'm not playing. Look how many there are. Look at all these. Look, right? I'm still not done. There's that as well. This is how many different spirits myself and my guest for today, Richie, are going to be tasting before we're done with the WSET or WSET or WSET? I don't know how to pronounce it, but whatever it's called, we're studying it. And I think we got our asses kicked a little bit today. We're going to discuss it. But before I make him hang out any longer, I am going to get Richie on the line. Now, we had some technical issues just a minute ago. Let's hope they're gone. If the audio cracks up, guys, just let me know straight away. We ready? Richie, g'day, mate.
G'day, bro.
How are you? You good?
Yeah, I'm good, man.
All right, and you can hear me well and everything. Can everyone hear him? Can you just say Breaker Alpha Tango for me, Richie?
Breaker Alpha Tango.
Yeah, I think we got you. All right, so like, yeah, pubs are good, right? And Mitch, a friend of ours, come round and I got my hair cut. Looks good, right? Doesn't it look good? I didn't even ask him for what I wanted. He just like cut it because we didn't have time for asking with all the, personal protection and all that sort of stuff. So Richie, how did you find today, mate?
I thought even though like I'm pretty clued up, there was a lot to learn that's more specifics. It's nice actually. It's humbling, but it's actually quite nice knowing that there's still a lot more to learn.
Oh my God, yeah. I'm actually quite looking. I've drunk a lot of Baijiu in my time, but I'm looking forward to learning about Baijiu.
Actually, I've never tried Baijiu, so I'm really looking forward to it.
Wow. Yeah, man, that stuff. You know, when you think about if you think about sauerkraut, right?
Uh-huh.
And like the way it's got a certain fermentation, then you think about what's the stuff from Korea called again? Kimchi, right?
Oh, kimchi. Yeah.
They're similar things, but different, right? And the kimchi's getting a bit more funky. And then you look at like the Norwegian shark stuff and like some of the more like obscure Japanese like long fermentation type things where you really do need to develop a taste for it.
Cool.
Baijiu has like a unique fermentation and a unique flavor profile that like it's so full of flavor that it takes a little bit to get your head around it enough to really appreciate it.
So it's kind of like fermented shark, which I tried in Iceland.
That's what I'm talking about, man. Like you need to know. So I'm moving these out of the way. I set them up for my photo, for my cover of the episode. I wanted like just keep making interesting covers. But before we get into it, Richie, like where have you just moved across from the US, right? Where were you in the US and what are you up to?
I was actually I'm back in England now, but I was in Edinburgh before that. But I was living in Iceland for a year, which was phenomenal. The bar scene over there is actually pretty cool. Obviously, they do a lot of fermentation stuff, which is fantastic, which adds that different component.
Yeah.
And it's really cool to see in more kind of like non sort of Scandinavian countries, there's more influence of fermentation coming through, which I think is brilliant.
Yeah.
Before that, I was in Australia, and then before that, I was on cruise ships. So I've had a quite well-rounded
Wow.
guide to bartending, but obviously there's still a little gaps. So that's why I'm doing WSET.
And how long you been in the industry, bro?
I literally started probably a month before my 18th birthday. I poured my first pint in my
So like
mother's
6 years
boyfriend.
ago.
Sorry?
Was that like 4 years ago, 6 years ago?
No, that was about 15 years ago.
Okay, right. I was trying to I didn't want to guess your age there. Wow, so 15 years. You look young for someone that's been bartending for 15 years, dude.
Yeah, it's all in skincare program.
Yeah, maybe I'm just getting old. Everyone looks younger these days. Right. So 15 years you've been doing it. You said you were in Iceland. You went to Edinburgh, and where are you now?
I'm currently in the beautiful Lake District.
Oh, nice.
Very rural. I'm just outside Keswick. I'm junior manager of a hotel and spa here, which is really beautiful. I'm surrounded by mountains on a daily basis, so it's really it's quite nice to have that disconnect. There's a couple of cool distilleries here. There's a Lakes Distillery, which is great. They do a wonderful pink grapefruit gin, which is pretty decent.
Yeah, nice. Cool. I haven't tried the pink grapefruit gin. I'll look out for it. We'll get on top of that. So you've got 15 years experience. Like I've been in the industry for more than 20 years, but physically bartending, I've gone in and out of it for years. But I think I have the advantage of having spent years as a brand ambassador and a category trainer, traveling around teaching people about spirits. So like that, repeating how a still works over and over again creates a repetition whereby like I'm not going to forget sulfur and copper, so some things I'm pretty clued up on, but I still found today really interesting. Like I found it, not only the information that Hannah was sharing, but the structure by which she was sharing it. It was like, we're going to talk about this until everyone's fully comprehended it, or they say they have. Like there were some things where I'm like, I'm not gonna just ask questions and slow everything down for everyone. I'm gonna take a note to go back over it, and I'll ask the question if I can't figure it out for myself. Did you find yourself doing that?
Definitely.
Yeah, but it was
I'm
a
humble.
good structure.
I will say.
It was a good structure, and like did you download and print all the documents beforehand?
I actually did.
Okay, because look at this. Look, I printed them this morning, right? So like, there's the textbook for the kids at home. That's the textbook. And this is not a picture book. Look how small the writing is. That's this is some small writing. Look at this. Camera 3. Yeah. They go into every detail, right? And then that's that. And then like, that's like breaking down what we need to know out of that. And then there's this one literally is just called A World of Knowledge. And I haven't even looked in this one yet. I've got a lot of work to do. And then
I think they need to rename it Universe of Knowledge. I think World of Knowledge doesn't cover it.
Well, you could say Universe of Knowledge. We're not sure if yeast is on any other planets, right? We could be the lucky ones. It's always been a dream of mine that like aliens would come to Earth and then kind of try whiskey or try a cocktail and be like, this is the greatest thing ever, right? And they've never had alcohol before. And then we become like the Ibiza of the galaxy. You know what I mean?
Oh wow!
Wouldn't that
I wonder
be cool?
if you had to pick a cocktail to give brand new aliens to this planet. What would you give them? What would be your pick to be like? Here's the best cocktail. What would be your pick, Dean?
Does it have to be a cocktail?
No, it could be a spirit.
I'd give them a Manhattan if it was a cocktail. Like I'd just be like, look, I'm going to give you something that undoubtedly is a great drink. Do you know what I mean? Like, you could give them an old fashioned and be like, that's the kind of like cocktail. But I think there's so many different people's perceptions of what is and isn't an old fashioned, whereas the good Manhattan,
Yeah, I
There's
agree.
no denying that a Manhattan is a Manhattan. So I think a
Yeah.
Manhattan. Or Mitch's Rum Toronto is pretty good. I've been drinking quite. I've gone through a whole bottle of Fernet on those things, and I've lost half my rye as well, because just moving back and forth from rum to rye Torontos. I'm getting into them. If it was a spirit, right? It would be difficult. If I could choose any spirit, I'd try to find them. Ardbeg Lord of the Isles. Did you ever try Ardbeg Lord of the Isles?
Oh, yes, I did.
Man,
I managed to try some when I went to the Ardbeg distillery. I got a little private
how good
tasting,
is
which was
it?
lovely.
Was so good. So back in the day when I was like a young whippersnapper, I won a bartending competition, and part of the bartending competition was that I got like 2.5. No, was it 2.5 or 1.5? I think it was 2,500 Australian dollars to
Cool.
spend taking my staff out for dinner, which is a lot of money. And we went to a place that we had 50% discount that also had a bottle shop off to the side. So we had like
Dangerous.
we all had dinner for about $300, and then we spent the rest on booze and bought loads of bottles of booze with the money with discount. And I got 2 bottles of Ardbeg Lord of the Isle, and drank them both.
Nice.
Amazing. Otherwise, if they come here, I give them this one. It's the Balvenie double with
Ooh,
25-year-old. It's pretty special. And it's a limited edition, so they wouldn't be able to get it from everyone else. That's what I'd probably do.
good
So
choice.
speaking of drinks, oh right, nod now, Google later, says Angus Winchester. This is good advice. Nod now, Google later. I'm gonna write that down because I started getting more confident in asking questions.
Hashtag, I like it.
So have you got a spirit with you? Because I think of all the things today, the thing that blew my mind was just how relaxed I've been about tasting spirits for the last 20 years.
Hmm.
Does that make sense? You know what I'm talking about,
Yeah,
right? So
yeah, yeah.
so for the kids at home, we were given this, and obviously, the course costs £750, or I think it's £800 normally, but I got like a mate's rate of £750 to do, and I'm not going to just share everything that they teach us, because that would kind of be defeating the purpose. Not that I'd be able to share everything Hannah says, but I think if you and I can attempt to go through this tasting thing, right? Did you fully comprehend it?
Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit different for me because I'm going to be doing Bar 5 Day. So I've been cluing myself up to the way that they operate. And what's actually pretty cool from doing this and doing that, they both have really cool aspects. So for me, obviously, coming from this, I'll probably do a hybrid of both. But obviously, for the WSET, I'll do it the WSET way.
Yeah,
This was a little bit different because it gets you to really analyze what's going on, everything, like
yeah,
from sight, smell to taste, and breaking it down, and it kind of gives you an idea of what actually got in the glass. Whereas before, I was guessing things, but I didn't really know why I was guessing them, or why I was picking them up, or
yeah,
what was jumping out at me was actually a cause of this, or this was this. It was really interesting to find that out, and I think this tasting grid is actually pretty cool.
yeah. Because this right. So for everyone at home, we were taught that we started the day learning how to taste something, right? And there's a breakdown. You start with your appearance, and you look at the clarity, like, is it faulty? Is there bits of fatty, haze in it? I'm gonna go chocolate malt.
I have two lovely samples, and these are donated to me by Ant Cook. I've been reaching out to a fair few friends of mine to send me blind samples to kind of practice. So shout out to everyone that's helped me. Colin from Trailer Campfire, and then also Sly from Trailer Happiness.
Oh,
Big
nice.
up, sending me some stuff. So to everyone that sent me some things to practice with, is fantastic. So I actually don't know what I have in front of me. I can only
Ooh.
smell from the initial
Oh,
smell of what I've got here. I have a sneaking suspicion it's a barrel aged aquavit, just from the smell, but the taste I haven't tasted yet. So We'll
Right.
see.
So we started with so you look at the appearance and you see whether or not it's like faulty, if there's like fattiness in it and all that sort of stuff. You see what color it is. So like I wonder what brown is. I was gonna ask that question because everything was like
Yeah.
there was like colorless lemon, gold, amber, and brown, and then different levels of like the color. But I would say that's amber because I'm seeing a really strong red hue in it. But what does
See, mine's
brown?
golden.
Yeah, see that looks more yellowy, right?
Yeah, so I'd say this was golden.
Well, if you could see this, the white balance is going to be off on that, so you're probably not getting. But you see red in it when you see a reflection?
Yeah, I
Like
can see a little bit of red.
I'm seeing a lot of red, so I'm going like strong amber, like powerful amberness. And then we were taught to like gauge how strong the nose is, and you're meant to remove alcohol from it and like start low and bring it up. So if you can smell it from a chin, so when you do Baijiu, dude, you'll have it here, right? And you'll be able to smell it.
Yep.
It's that powerful. It's like
Gee.
Pai Mei's beard. It could be sitting at the end of Pai Mei's beard, and you'd still smell it, right? So
Looking forward to this.
and then after you put the glass through the dishwasher, you can still smell it.
Oh,
it's
wow.
so pungent. So this I'm
Looking forward
saying
to
about
that.
the chin. So I'd say medium.
For me, this is medium plus. It's not quite pronounced, but it's pretty decent. Like I can get it from here.
And obviously I'm getting loads of flavor on this. I already know what it is, so it's kind of cheating. I just wanted a nice tasty whiskey, and I'm killing this thing. It's running out so fast. So and as I'm destroying like drinking all my good booze, I'm also realizing that I can't like afford to keep buying really expensive bottles of booze anymore because I have a baby. So I've become a bit reluctant and sparing. So I thought I'd drink this. There's more in this.
This is phenomenal. I'm pretty sure this was an aquavit, but it's been barrel aged. It's awesome.
See, it's really funny. I know what this is, and I'm still not getting the huge amount of flavor that maybe I've just got a terrible nose.
But whenever I do, as I said before when we were talking and things, I always do a neti pot before I taste anything, and rice cakes are my friend. So neti pots are the god's end,
What's
honestly.
a Nelly pot?
A neti pot is like, sorry, so it's like a little, like, you can either get them as two types. As one like looks like a watering can, and then the other one's like a squeezy bottle. But you get these little sachets which are like a saline component, but it's the same pH levels as like all around here. So you just basically squeeze it and it just flushes out your sinuses. So if you are a little bit of hay fever like me, because I suffer from hay fever, it can help just get rid of all the gunk and just allow you to smell a little bit better.
Yeah,
I generally try to stay away from sprays because they will wipe out your smell. It's just
what will
don't
wipe
do it.
out your smell?
Sorry?
What wipes out your smell?
The sprays that you can get, like the actual
Oh,
drug based ones, they just kill your smell. Just a waste of time.
Well, I'm getting barley. Like to me, it just I've like drunk too much whiskey without having a mind to pull it apart and know what it is. So it smells like delicious whiskey. I know it's just going to taste great.
For me, I'm getting Coeb seeds. There's a lovely little, like a lemon, like peel going through this, but then it's also backed up with like obviously stuff from the oak that it's been like aged in. So I'm getting like little soft pieces of vanilla.
Well, I definitely got vanilla on that one. I got like bits of caramel flavor. There was obvious like that you could smell the oakiness, and then when I tasted it, I want to say chocolate, but because people call the malt chocolate malt, it's kind of like cheating. You know, it feels like I think my brain thinks too much. So I'm going to quickly show something that was shared with us today to everyone else. You probably won't see it, but this is a chart of like the esters, like the aromas that we're meant to pick up. It's very cool.
Yeah, that was cool.
So literally it was shared with us about 10-15 minutes before the show started. And I was like, right, cool. I want to save this. So I printed it and then lost the print. I was going to show the print, lost the print straight away. I will find the print, but for now I don't have it. So So you start with the appearance, you do the nose, you break it all down, and there's sections, there's things that are given to you for what you should be seeing and where you're going with it. And then on the palate, you first decide whether or not there's sugar in it. You know, is it dry? Has it off dry? Has there been any sugar added to it? And then you start looking at the flavor intensity and the flavors. It's quite cool. I think it's a really interesting thing
Yeah.
to train yourself to do. I wish I'd learned this when I first started bartending, because there's a lot of nights where, you know, I was quiet nights in a bar, and you got 4 or 5 hours until it kicks off. Had I been doing this the whole time with the spirits behind me, instead of just shooting them, you know,
Yep.
when I was younger and I drank all the time, I could
100.
I could be
Like, I
so good
wish I'd
at
have done the
tasting
same.
now. Do you know what I mean, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, like all those years before I started really thinking about stuff, wasted in more ways than one, right?
One little thing that I like today is finding out, talking about like sweetness and being off dry and stuff. The trick of adding a little bit to your hands and then rubbing it. Like I've just done it with mine, and my hand feels sticky. So
Okay.
I think that's a great way to find that sweetness, because I think naturally, myself personally, I've found that it's very hard for me to detect sweetness sometimes with certain things.
I got a
So
sweet
having
tooth.
that method of doing it, I think is brilliant. There was a real one of them moments of, that's a cool piece of information.
See, this isn't sticky, so my hands still feel very clean at the end of this.
Mine are very sticky, so I can deduct, and that's indicative of adding sugar.
Well, I don't think, you know, for all I know, Signet could have had sugar added to it, but I doubt there's like actual sugar added to it altogether. Well, I know there's not sugar added to it. Apart from maybe caramel. So finish, you got the length of the finish, how long the flavor stays with you, and were you counting the seconds to try to figure out how many seconds, or were you just guesstimating it?
I was just guesstimating, like, myself personally, like I'm a drummer, like I'm pretty good with timing, so I don't generally time things because I can generally feel it, if that makes sense. That's just something I've worked on as a drummer.
So you can
Um,
sit dead still and just not think, and in the back of your head it's going.
yeah, pretty much. I pretty much think in drum notation.
Okay.
For me, I think today I was just letting it go because I was obviously trying to keep up, but I didn't want to think too much because I didn't want to fry myself. But I found myself kind of sort of falling into the lines that Hannah was saying, and it kind of makes sense. But I think it obviously depends on you, doesn't it? Like my version of something that's quite pronounced is going to be very different to you, and I think that's something that when I first started doing this, I got lost in, because I was like, I'm not getting this, I'm not getting this, or I'm not getting this, and I'm getting this. It's all very personal, which I found today kind of backed that up.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna make sure I get a good night's sleep tonight before tomorrow, because we're doing tasting again tomorrow, aren't we?
Yep. 60 samples to go through.
Yeah, 60 samples. That's insane. And guys, for the people at home, there was a lot of blind tasting as well, and we were talked through how to blind taste something properly. And Hannah, I thought Hannah was great today. Like she was just the perfect amount of giving us knowledge that we needed if we asked a question, and then having such a relaxed attitude that you felt comfortable asking. Does that make
Yeah.
sense? That's how I felt it was. So I feel we're
I
in
also
really good
felt like
hands.
he explained the kind of a little bit more kind of complex subjects and little pieces of it in such a way that makes sense. She gave really good, I don't know what the word would be, like examples of it in another situation. Like when she was talking about the hi-fi aspect. Now I know hi-fi, and I'm very, very versed in hi-fi. So when she was giving that analogy, it made sense to me. And I often do describe, when I'm thinking about things, I will describe it in an audio way because that's what I know most.
Yeah.
And I like the way that she was giving those comparisons to break down certain stuff that was quite difficult to grasp, which I thought was great. So perfect. Yeah, I thought she was brilliant the way that she delivered it today.
Okay, so the key reason I'm doing this, right, is one of the things I learned, like, before I even started bartending, is that there's like, you've got conscious incompetence. So like, for example, I know I don't know how to like wire a circuit board for a DJ mixer. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like I just
Yep.
flat out know that if you give me all the bits, I can't make something out of it, right? Um, but when it comes to like booze and like our knowledge in spirits, like I know I don't know much about Baijiu, but I don't know how much I don't know, if that makes sense. So being
Yeah.
able to be given something that's so in depth and such a broad learning as this, um, even if I fail the course, I feel like I'm gonna have learned what I need to work on. Where's the chinks in my armor?
True.
So having done it today, I realized that. And if you'll give me a minute, I then asked that question of Mitch, and here's Mitch's answer. So, yeah, have you ever seen the show before?
Yeah, I have.
Okay, great. So you know Mitch's minute.
Yes.
Mitch's minute is great. So I press a button, and then Mitch comes on for a whole minute. It's great. It's great. He does, but literally, I got off the phone from you earlier on after we got off the WSET thing, and then asked him this question. So we'll see what he
Cool.
says.
Where do I see gaps in my knowledge? Shit, you know nothing, Jon Snow. I think a lot of what the type of things we were talking with Hannah Lanfair about the other week, like why things taste the way they do, like I have a rudimentary understanding of, how still shapes affect final flavors, or distillates. I think agave types of mezcal, I'm pretty rudimentary as well. I have a book that or like a guide that I've been working on of like combinations of things that create flavors that taste different. Like an example, like, Skinos, if you make an old fashioned with that, chocolate bitters and agave, it tastes like carrot juice, or a last word style spec with Saint Germain and mezcal tastes like Feijoa juice. Have a gap there. Geography's quite good. Rum, probably. Fuck the police.
Well, yeah, Mitch, fuck the police, eh?
Yeah.
You know, luckily I don't. I tick the 18 plus not made for kids button on my YouTube channel when I upload this. So um, right. So that like Mitch has a good kind of solid understanding of where he wants to kind of grow. What did you think after today? Like, what were your initial thoughts of right? This is what I'm gonna start on.
I think for me, I'm going to switch up my approach because I used to do things. I'm very systematic in the way I approach stuff, but I think tonight what I'm going to do is the first thing I'm going to do is go over what we did today because I found the same as you. There was a couple of bits where I was a bit like, wow. Luckily, I've got a fairly good handle on whiskey, so I'm just going to do a little bit of a touch up on that. But I think actually probably tomorrow I'm going to get up earlier than what I did today and read through what we need to do as well. So just to
Yeah.
have a kind of a base before tomorrow.
I think we're very lucky that Hannah has given us the first couple of days of learning and then a break and then the
Yeah.
next couple of days of learning because like it's been 24 or maybe 25 years since I was at school. So like
Uh,
the concept of a textbook and an exam and all that, I was like, whoa, how long has it been since I was at school?
yeah.
Like I
I mean, I'm
probably
dyslexic as anything. Like I've got severe learning difficulties, so this stuff's hard for me. I just love it,
yeah.
so I jump it.
Well, I've always thought I learned well. So, that's probably to my detriment. If I worked harder, I'd probably know a lot more. So I'm gonna make myself a Manhattan man if you don't mind.
Please do.
Um,
Wish I could join you, Dean.
yeah, man, I wish you could just come hang out in the cabin. Like the social distancing things, well, physical distancing. Apparently social distancing's like basically a bad word. Right, so
Right.
I'm going Willets Rye with discarded vermouth.
Ooh, discarded.
And
I remember trying that
when,
the first time.
when you make a
Delicious.
Manhattan, right? Do you just do 2 to 1, or do you do more whiskey?
I do 2 to 1. If it's sweet, I'll do 2 to 1, but I'll add 10 ml of the maraschino syrup in.
Okay, because I don't put maraschino in. Because as far as I'm concerned, well, a Manhattan with the addition of maraschino liqueur.
Oh, not the liqueur, just the syrup from the cherries.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't do that.
Just literally like 5 to 10 ml. It just gives it this texture and body to it.
I think
It's
it
awesome.
tastes
Got it from the
great.
Diffords actually.
So I'll tell you what, I've had like 10 of these in here in the last couple of weeks. So I might do what I'm gonna add some cherry jizz, especially for you, Richie.
Yeah, baby.
I'm gonna make it Richie Rich.
You're touching my soul.
All right. I might even go as far as to have a cherry as a garnish.
I love your mixing glass, by the way. What brand is it?
I think this is a Libby mixing glass, to be honest.
Beautiful.
It's pretty cool. It's got a little bit of a thick glass part there, but then it hasn't broken, you know.
Yeah.
In this bar, I have broken a lot of mixing glasses. Like,
I switched to stainless steel.
yeah, I've got a couple of stainless steel ones. Like, I've got a few of the Eric Lorenz ones.
Yeah.
These little guys.
Oh.
You know, I love those.
Wow.
Yeah, they're quite cool. I spent a lot of money on bar tools, and then I decided I wanted to do my own range of bar tools, and haven't got that. I haven't gone anywhere with that.
I have to say though, Eric's range is expensive, but wow, just wow, they're beautifully made.
Well, it's one of those things, you know, like, what do you spend your money on? I remember a few months ago, maybe a couple of years ago, someone telling me that, like, Dean, it's ridiculous to think that a bartender can afford to spend 50 pounds a month on, like, learning or, you know, kit or whatever. And I was like, 50 pounds? That's, you know, 4 packs of cigarettes.
Yeah.
How many
I don't know how to
bartenders do
say
you
something
know
like
that
that.
smoke loads? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
we're not. You can't be that broke. Like, anyway, just quit cigarettes. Then,
Yeah, I agree with that.
yeah, I used to smoke like a
Nothing
couple
better
of
than
packs a
making
day.
stuff. I mean, like you're making stuff with all your stuff right now. I mean, like if I was to turn up with just standard gear, I guess, or
Yeah,
broken gear, whatever, it wouldn't feel the same. It's like a doctor having, you know, a really nice stethoscope. Like it's nice to have your own tools and personal tools. I mean, because not every bar spoon is the same, not every shaker is the same. I like gold shakers. I like Coriaco, and
yeah.
Julian turned me onto a brand called Cocktail 7, and they're oh
What's
man, their
Cocktail
shakers
7?
are delicious. They're amazing.
Okay, I haven't seen them. All right, I got my cherry going in.
Cool.
So,
Let me know what you think with the little bit of cherry syrup.
yeah, I think I've done it before. Like, but I got this. I don't know why. I'm gonna have to check on this. But I got this. I got this impression that a Manhattan with the addition of cherry, and you know, albeit Luxardo Maraschino, was a jockey club.
Okay.
So I thought, like, right, and I think it come from. It might have been David Embry. I'll have to double check on that. I'll do a research on it. But then a long time ago, I come to that conclusion that, like, look, if you start adding cherry in, it's this, and if you leave it as a without any additional sweetness, it's just rye whiskey, sweet vermouth, and bitters. Then that's the Manhattan, you know. And I don't make perfect Manhattans. I just don't agree with that.
Yeah, I have to admit, as much as a bartender, you should stay open and stuff. I cannot get behind a dry Manhattan. It just doesn't vibe with me. Like I'm not a sweet guy. I don't really like sweet things, but I do generally gravitate towards a sweet Manhattan personally.
Yeah, I just think it's like it's an old pal that does both, right?
Oh, I'm testing my memory now. Yeah, I think so. I mean,
we're-
it's been so long. I've
we-
made one with
We're lucky it's the
measures.
spirits one. Oh, so Abby's joining us, right?
Oh, yeah.
So Cocktail 7 makes for expensive presents for Julian. So if Julian DeFerro is using Cocktail 7 equipment, I need to get me some before um, my wife starts looking at my accounts for my business, which
The one that Abby got him was absolutely beautiful. Like I almost shed a tear. It just looks so beautiful.
I'll tell you what, man. I think because the Willits is so like strong and dry, I'm not even. You could. I wouldn't even notice that had the addition of an extra bar spoon of syrup in it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's really well balanced. It's really nice. What to do? On another day. So, man, I don't want to keep you all night. I know you got to study, but I just wanted to say thanks for coming on and having a chat with me, because
Pleasure.
if it was just me talking about my day, I think people don't want to hear that. They want to hear us like have a conversation. And one day we'll be able to get to a stage where we'll have people, we can sit here and have a proper discussion and make some proper drinks. But I was glad to be in the course with you today, and Abby as well. And until tomorrow, I guess.
Hey, Abby.
Yeah, I'll see you tomorrow. And for anyone that's thinking about it, from what I've seen today and having a look through this, this is a lot more textbook than I was expecting, and it's broken down as much as it could possibly break down, and up to date to what, 2019 is it? It says, I think it's 2019, the print, which
Yeah,
is
I think so.
pretty badass. So it's looking really kind of positive. If anything, I'm starting to look at all of the bits that we need to know, especially when it comes to like every bit of legislation written out. And I'm more scared of the tasting. I realized I might be crap at tasting stuff. I had to question the fact that like I spent so much money on fancy booze. If I can't taste very well, then am I wasting it? You know what I mean? Anyway.
I think you can teach yourself, man. Like, I mean, there's actually a book I found about sensory skills, and I had a look online. It's about 170 quid, so I haven't bought it just yet,
Ooh.
but I will do probably. And it basically just splits most of our palates down to three sections. So we've got the under sensory people. Well, I don't know what the actual word was called, but not much sensory skills going on. You got the general people that are in that kind of bracket where they actually got pretty good tasting. They just need to hone their skills. And a lot of it's recall. A lot of it's recalling those flavors. And then you got the hyper sensory guys, which there's so much stimulus that they actually can't break it down. They can't actually like distinguish what they've got in their mouth. So, I think you're all right, man. I think you'll be good by the end of the
my
course.
problem, that signet, I put it to my
Yeah.
mouth, I smelt it, and I remembered drinking whiskey with Electra's parents, like my mother-in-law and father-in-law at their house, and having ragu and like having a lovely evening. The memory I had of the last time I was drinking it come flooding back, and then it was just a memory rather than a breaking down like, oh, I'm tasting toasted barley, like
Yeah.
and like the Willet, that like this Manhattan again, I'm thinking of the last time I made something similar, one of the first episodes on the show, and I'm comparing it to the last cocktail. So I used to be really good at that actually, because I drank a lot less. I drank a lot less very good booze, if that makes sense. So
Yeah.
I'd taste a cocktail, like for example, I had Ramos Gin Fizz in Chicago, like 9 years ago maybe, and it was
With Topo Chico.
no, it was Ryan. Oh, what's the name of the guy? His name's Ryan, and he had like a mohawk, or Mike Ryan.
Right.
Mike Ryan.
Okay.
And he made it for me, and I'd never met the guy. I didn't know anything about like who was in the room, whatever. I knew when Dale DeGroff turned up, I was like, oh, I'm in a bartending competition. I happened to go and sit at his bar and order a Ramos Gin Fizz in the middle, what would become the middle of a cocktail competition. I didn't realize. I was staying in the hotel upstairs, and it was one of the
Nice.
best Ramos Gin Fizzes I ever had in my life. And then it was defeated by Eric Lawrence's Ramos Gin Fizz. But the memory of that, the viscosity, the aeration, the fluffiness,
Yeah.
like how the fat broke down in my mouth, like every part of it, like that I'll remember. But I wouldn't be able to tell you what I broke
To be
down.
fair, they have a bit of a level up, because there's this brand of sparkling water, like mineral water, called Topo Chico,
Yeah, I know.
and making fizzes with these are incredible, absolutely incredible. And I wouldn't surprise me if yours was made with that, because since
Yeah.
trying fizzes without that,
It's like a tall,
chalk and
clear,
cheese.
like clear bottle, looks like a Mexican Coca-Cola bottle, right?
Yeah.
They're huge in Texas. So there's a guy I met at the Balvenie trip who has Topo Chico on tap, I believe,
Lucky.
so that he can do all his highballs for his whiskey bar with Topo Chico on tap. And it's like
Wow.
he's got the CO2 on it, like right, basically. Haven't been to his bar yet. I heard all about it.
That sounds cool.
When we can travel again. So, hey, Abby, if you're still watching. Anyway, I don't want to keep people too long. I don't want to keep you too long. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Pleasure, man.
Before I go, I'm just going to say to everyone, like, this book was recommended to me today. I said on the last episode that, like, Kevin, or I tried not to use his name. I just did. People wanted to do a book club. If anyone's out there studying together, and like the first person to say let's be study buddies on this course was Andrea Montague, but her book arrived too late, so she's not on our course. She's on the next one, which is a shame, because it would have been cool to study with her. But I guess we can study, right?
Yeah, man.
And what was that app that you shared with me? The quiz app.
Oh, Quizlets.
Quizlets. So that was amazing. That was an amazing learning. Thank you very much for that. And then this was the book that Hannah recommended about wood, which I thought I'd share with everyone. Right? Whiskey, wood, and wine. Oh, wood, whiskey, and wine. A history of barrels, right?
Yeah.
Which looks super interesting. I've already bought it. I bought it while we were training. And then like
I knew you would.
Right? So I'm like, click buy. And then it was like, thank you for purchasing this book. The Kindle version is available for you right now. Would you like to open it? And I was like, concentrate, Dean, concentrate, Dean, concentrate, Dean, concentrate, Dean. Like I missed out on a good 10 minutes just trying to concentrate. So I think next time I'll leave all my book buying stuff. I'll just write a note and leave it to the very end. But again, thank you for being on the show, bro. I look forward to hanging out tomorrow virtually.
Yeah, man.
And yeah, thanks everybody for watching. It's been a pleasure. Hope this was a nice distraction, and yeah, see you next time.
Peace.
You ordered what?